Hey there guys, Homeroom Hero here from Pixel to Pixel, and today I'm bringing you guys an exclusive review of Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Now first and foremost, this game is not a heavy story-based game, and the storyline is actually pretty simple, and your main plot in this game, the main cause of Spider-Man to go out and solve crime in this game is pretty much that you are collecting the shattered pieces of an ancient artifact, which were actually destroyed by Spidey himself in an attempt to foil Mysterio's plans from stealing it. Now this...
Spider-Man, you are needed.
Madam Web? As if this night wasn't strange enough already.
The Tablet of Order and Chaos is the most powerful of all the mystic artifacts in the world, and you shattered it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Guess they don't make tablets like they used to, huh?
The pieces are now fragmented across other dimensions. Dimensions that are strange reflections of our own. A past unlike ours. A present day out of sync. And a distant future which may or...
Now we played in this game through The Amazing Spider-Man's world, Noir Spidey's world, Spider-Man 2099's world, and Ultimate Spider-Man's world. Now case in point, it's very, very simple, and your plot does not change with the game. You literally are on a constant hunt for these shards, and you're collecting them one by one. Now what makes this game actually kind of appealing despite the bland story is that you are constantly bouncing from world to world, and visually all these different worlds are very, very different, and Activision did a great job as they really made each world stand out and have their own little vibrancy to them. For example, in the Amazing Spider-Man world, you kind of get what you see, which is Spider-Man as we know it. In the Noir world, it's a lot darker and actually has more of an Arkham Asylum feel to it. And Activision actually stated before that this world is inspired and their answer to Batman Arkham Asylum, as the gameplay in this world is pretty much the same and very similar to that game. And thirdly, we have Spider-Man 2099 world. In this world, everything is just futuristic, flashy, and just very, very bright. It's a nice little change and just a whole lot different to look at. And lastly, we play in the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, which is the alternate reality of The Amazing Spider-Man. In this world, things are a little bit more glossy and a little bit more plastic, if you will. I've got to say, each world really just gives off a whole different vibe, and it keeps things interesting. So despite you playing through a really basic story, the world in itself that you're going to be playing through in these 4 different worlds are all very different, and you'll find yourself just constantly impressed with the different material that you're going to be finding in each world. Now, another thing I really found amazing in this game is that because you're in 4 different Spider-Man worlds, obviously as you can imagine, if all 4 Spider-Man look different, so must their villains. For example, in the Spider-Man Noir world, everything is now in the 1920s and just takes place in the past, so everything has an old feel, and the villains here are actually a lot more grotesque and a lot more darker than you'd imagine. And this is a little bit of a spoiler, but one of the villains in the Noir world is the Vulture. And he is not anything like the Vulture we know, as he's a little bit more psychotic. He doesn't have wings, he cannot fly, yet he actually has a cannibalistic nature, and he's very, very just crazy, if you will. All in all, the game has a very nice look to it, and you're going to be jumping literally from place to place at all times. The game is constantly keeping you on your toes, and your eyes are always going to be looking around and just admiring the different environments you're going to see. Next up, what we're going to talk about is the basic mechanics and the gameplay of the game. All 4 Spideys pretty much control the same, and they all comprise of the same basic attacks and combo systems, and that doesn't really change throughout the game. And what does differentiate these worlds is that each Spider-Man depend on something a little different in each world. First being the Amazing Spider-Man, in his world everything is just basic. So his is the base core world for the game, and his world is basically everything you'd expect Spidey to have when it comes to fighting and just using his techniques. Now, for the Noir world, this Spider-Man is actually not as strong evasively, so you actually do have to lurk in the darkness in his world and stay in the shadows and take down the enemies in stealth. And thirdly, in the 2099 world, the enemies here are a little bit faster, and because you have a lot more enemies that are airborne, and you have a lot more firepower just shooting at you, they give you an extra bonus power, which is the Spider Accelerated Vision, which actually means that you slow down time, and you get to move around as Spidey in normal motion, get around and maneuver these enemies as they're all slowed down. which is a nice little touch for this world, and it just works well. And lastly, we have the world of Ultimate Spider-Man. In his world, you face a little bit more enemies than the other worlds, and you face bigger swarms at a time, and because of that, they give you another upper hand here, and they give you the power of the Rage mode. And now in this world, Spidey is wearing the symbiote suit, and so when he does go into Rage mode, your attacks have more reach as the symbiote kind of takes more control of Spidey, and your moves are stronger, faster, and you actually can now penetrate the defenses and blocked enemies. All in all, the gameplay was pretty rock solid, very easy to pick up on, and for veterans of Spider-Man games, you'll not be unfamiliar with the controls at all. And for noobs that are going to be trying this game out, you're not going to be disappointed either. It's very easy to pick up on and not very difficult to learn at all. Now, throughout the game, you do have other features involved, which are collectible emblems, and these emblems actually are made so you can accumulate points, and these points are used later to buy upgradable items or bonus material in the game. It's not a big factor and not worth going into too much, but basically if you collect these emblems, you build up these points, and you can go into a special menu where you can upgrade Spidey's moves, give him extra bonuses such as larger health meters or just added attack power, or simply you can use these points to buy extra content such as alternate costumes in this game, which is a nice little perk. And I mean, I found myself collecting these bonus items, and you yourself, if you're a fan of just different Spideys and just different looks, these bonus costumes are a little delight and a little treat just to have in the game. Now, lastly, I'm going to talk about little things that I didn't like about this game. And one thing I really did find, which kind of was annoying, is the web swinging. And the older games, if you remember, web slinging was never perfect, and camera issues always came up, and control issues always came up when it came to web slinging. And I gotta be sad to say that this game is no different, and sometimes these same annoyances just come back, and it just created some frustrations every once in a while. But if you overlook that small matter, it's not a big thing. Moving on, the next little problem I had too is that this game was a little bit too easy and a little bit too short. Now, I was in love with the game. I was in love with just the visuals, the mechanics, and just all the amazing bosses I fought in this game, and it just made me want more. And this game, I feel, was a little bit too short and a little bit too easy. I didn't find myself ever thinking I'd complain about the game being too easy, but it actually was very, very easy, and I zoomed through this game and it's no problem. I'd recommend for future players to actually play it on the hardest difficulty because it'll actually give you some more playtime and more satisfaction. But all in all, this game was very good, and I've got to say, despite a few repetitions here and there, and the short nature of this game, and the few glitches here and there, it was a pretty rock solid game, and I recommend all of you guys check it out. I give this game a 3.5 pixel star rating out of 5 pixel stars. Hope you guys enjoy this game, and I definitely recommend that you check it out.
Oh, slow down. Other realities? Other me's?
Yes, I have explained our dire situation to them. They will be your allies in this quest.
But I'm the most charming, right?